Hey there guys, so it's been a while, but I've been working pretty hard on trying to find a way to break into MTGO like I was promising I was trying to do. And lo and behold, I did actually find a very viable, very easy way where I actually have been able to get an entire free zoo deck and all the zoo cards I need free by trading in my old cards that I don't use in paper ever. My old collection that's just been gathering dust for basically 5 years. And trading it all in for Zoo entirely. I think it's a cool investment. I was going to do it anyways, get online one of these days, so I don't mind having all this sort of store credit go throw towards that. But let me show you how exactly I did it so that you guys can know how I went from zero to full zoo. So how did I get here? Well, I basically have been collecting a crap ton of paper cards over the last 5 years, I want to say. Mainly through three different venues. I would either A, have friends that were getting out of the game from college and were just dumping their commons and uncommons like out because they had so many, and I would grab it from them because, well, you know, sometimes they've got value, sometimes they've got commons that I don't have. They would open up booster boxes, would be a big thing, so they'd have a ton of standard staples that I just didn't have, like Ultimate Price or whatnot. Or the second biggest one was that I draft. For a little while, I drafted a lot. I drafted from, I want to say Zynthagard to Scars, basically, were the two big blocks I drafted a lot in, because a lot of my friends were drafting during that time. And Innistrad for a little bit, too, just the first part of it. So I got a lot of just random cards from that, like a ton of bulk rare from that. The third way is going to either sort of like little comic shops that aren't really selling great Magic cards, or I would go to like yard sales and I would get stuff from them. Now, occasionally with that last option, you'd run into something like a Foiled Daze, which they're selling for 25 cents but is worth $60. And I would run into that, but I want to stress that that's not what I'm using at all for this method. I got, hold it on for a second, I got $1,128 to use on MTGO strictly from selling bulk cards. Now, I had to sell like 10,000 cards to get there, but I took the old collection that I didn't want anymore because I was moving and I didn't want to have to break my back transporting this at all, and just spending the time, and it took a long time, 3 days to go through my entire collection of commons and uncommons and characterize them, just make sure that I've got them down and their names down in the buy order. But using that method, I've gotten a crap ton of money, been able to buy my zoo completely, and I'm going to show you guys how I did it. First thing you got to do is go to MTGO traders. I think if you are just buying singles, it's better to just cut the middleman and just go straight for the bots. And watch the bots and how they pick up cards and how they sell it. So that way you can find the cheapest place in the entire internet, entire MTGO. But I don't actually know my way around that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know my way around that. And the biggest appeal to this was the sell your paper cards over here for MTGO credit plus 20%. Now that plus 20% is no joke. It's a little bit of like ridiculousness when you're doing $15 and you get, what, like about $3 or $4 added on to that. But when you're doing something and you manage to get $600, then you're looking at adding about $150-ish to that, which could mean the difference between getting goifs or not getting goifs. For a while, I was thinking I wasn't going to be able to get the goifs, but the plus 20%, when I got to $800, bumps it up to about $1,000, and boom, I've got goifs very easily, and I've still got room to buy extra staples. So what you're going to want to do is go to mtgotraders.com. It's going to bring you up to this main site. You're going to go and hit sell your paper cards. It's going to bring you to this area, which is going to say that you need to go to Cape Fear Games. Cape Fear Games is someone you're going to want to go to. I called them up personally, and I got a cool quote from them. I'm, again, moving to Philadelphia, so Wilmington, North Carolina from Savannah, Georgia to Philadelphia is actually on the way. So I didn't know whether I would just go to the store and talk to them in person. So I just called them up to see what their going rate is on buying in the store and what can I do to maximize my the amount of money I can grab from them. Now, they gave me a quote. They said if I'm lazy, I could sell my foils for 10 cents per. So every foil card I had, didn't matter if it was common, didn't matter if it was uncommon, I could sell it for 10 cents. I could then sell the foil rares that I had, foil bulk rares, for 20 cents per. And I could sell every bulk rare I had in my just bulk rares collecting dust in a binder in the middle of nowhere that I never normally take with me because it's not worth anything. I could sell that 10 cents per bulk rare. Now, when you think about that, that's about, if I had 10 rares, 10 foils, or 5 foil rares, that's $1. But some of those cards might be worth more money. So the best thing I could do was go through their buy list, which if you go through the way that I told you about will take you to the buy list. Or if you go to CapeFearGames.com and you go to their buy list area right here, it'll bring up this. You can search something up. So let's say, off the top of my head, I had a Jiraga Warcaller, which is an elf, so it's got a big casual appeal to it. Not to mention it's a multi-kicker, so it's big for like casual gamers, especially big for EDH. So I could just say it's a foil rare, I get 20 cents for it. Or I could type it up here, Jiraga Warcaller. And I could click that, and I could see that a Jiraga Warcaller, simply not even rare, just not even foiled, will get me $3. I could get the foil version of it if I wasn't doing a pre-release, and that would get me $4. If I did the pre-release promo like I had, that's $2.50 per. So that's ginormous amount over. So what I would suggest you do is go through every single one of your bulk rares, and even your commons. You'd be surprised. There's commons out there that are actually worth some money, and type it in there. See what you get. If it's worth like a cent, if it's worth whatever, put it aside so that way you can do their, again, their bulk rare, their foil rare, and their foil price, and just do that as like a bulk thing to give them, and they give you a certain amount, like the rate I told you. The other rate that they'll do, by the way, is they will take 1,000 commons and uncommons and give you $3 for it. So if you've got like just 1,000 commons and uncommons that aren't on their buy list, aren't really worth anything because all they are is like, I don't know, something stupid like Unsummon that's worth nothing, then go ahead and toss it in there. But you'll be surprised because even things like Lightning Bolt is worth some money because of a sentimental appeal. If you go to Lightning Bolt, you'll find out that aside from the Alpha, Beta, and Unlimited stuff, you might have a 3rd edition or 4th edition Lightning Bolt, which will still get you some money. If you get 3rd edition, that's 50 cents. You get 4th edition, that's another 50 cents. If you get 10th edition, and this is kind of interesting here, if you get 10th edition, the set that it was reprinted in, you'll find out that it's worth 75 cents. That's kind of weird because you think the older cards would be worth more, but not in this case. And there's a weird reasoning behind that one. I can tell you what it is off the top of my head. And that's because M10 was the first time that Lightning Bolt was reprinted. If you read the flavor text that is on the Lightning Bolt is only on the M10 version. It says, the spark makes shrieked, calling upon the rage of storms of his youth. To his surprise, the sky responded with a fierce lightning he thought he'd never see again. That's a joke, because everyone thought Lightning Bolt would never be reprinted in the rest of Magic's run. And the Spark Mage realized that his rage of his youth has come back for M10. Now, if you look at M11, that's gone. That's gone there, and that's the reason why M10 is worth way more than a lot of other ones are worth. But you'll find a lot of things that have casual appeal, like wolves, or elves, vampires, angels, demons, dragons, these things that are big and splashy, or even merfolk, that have competitive appeal, will be worth more if you go through them. Also, a lot of older cards that might not, you might not think at all are worth something, are totally worth something. For example, I have something ridiculous like 40 jeweled birds. Why do I have 40 jeweled birds? Because my brother John played back then. He had them, and they were the best card you could do for ante. And whenever he'd win, because people would always play jeweled birds, a common from Antiquities, right? Arabian Nights. You would replace it. So he'd always end up getting these jeweled birds from the ante. If you don't know what ante is, just Google it, and I'm not going to explain it. But jeweled bird is actually worth $1 each. That was $40 I did not know I had. I literally had to type it and be like, well, I had 40 jeweled birds. Let's see if they're worth 10 cents, because then I'm going to at least, like, $4, you know? Turns out I had $40 there, and that's great. So I ended up putting a crap ton in there, and you can look at my orders. Let's go into my orders real quick just to show you guys. So here's my order list, and you'll see that I just have a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff's new and old. I've got Noxious Revival, only one of. I had a crap ton of Dark Rituals, so that's 11 of them. Dismember, which is kind of new. I had 6 of them, so I kept 4, and I got 50 cents for each other one, so that's... I've got $1 right there. Hemtork, some older cards, some newer cards with Izzet Charm. Standard is really great right now because cards that shouldn't be worth anything are worth at least a cent. So, like, Blister Coil Weird is worth 2 cents. You get a lot of casual cards that are appealed, like Mind Funeral is worth $1.50 a pop randomly because they just that's got a casual appeal to it. You've also got stuff that's got serious appeal to it that are actually, like, something that can be played. For example, Quasali Pride Major Noctel. Noctel's a great one. It's worth 75 cents right now. So I just sold off a bunch of Noctels I had left over from altars. So I've just got a ton of them that sold off. And overall, it adds up to, slowly but surely, a lot of money. So this buy order, they only let you do $250 per. That one's worth $70. So overall, it took me a long time, but that's how I ended up getting what I needed for Zoo. And to look at what I'm buying from Zoo, I'm just going to scroll through it like slowly so you guys can see it. I'm just buying pretty much everything I could possibly need for Zoo. Not just stuff that's in my main deck that you can see in my current videos, and as well as what's in MTG Salvation, but a lot of like just offhanded stuff like, for example, Arc Trail, which might not be a big deal. But it's worth having on my it's worth having in my list, just so that way I can use it if I ever needed to, because the meta swung that way. And a lot of these cards are basically stuff that you can find on my Zoo thread, and has just shows that, like, eventually it could be used. It was useful in the past, or it might be powerful. It just isn't good right now. So you can see that, like, things are crazy here. Right? I've got Treetop Villages. Things like Tormad's Crypt, any kind of like Tribal Flames, even though I'm not going to be using any sort of Tribal Zoo anytime soon. Tarfire even, because that feeds Tarmogoyf, just random stuff like that. And the total price ends up being about $940, which seems like a lot, but again, I'm selling 10,000 cards that are worth 10 cents or something like that. Probably only worth 1 cent, really. And that's how I'm getting this entire deck for free. But this does allow me to have some flexibility, show you guys some budget alternatives, and actually play the budget alternatives in the dailies to try to show, and stream it to show that, like, it can be possibly done. As well as just doing my own Zoo and trying to get Zoo more popular. Online, there's True. He ends up doing a lot of Zoo stuff, and his stuff is really cool, but he's only one guy, you know? And then, like, when he's repping it, you know, he might get enough stuff shown on the mothership on MTG, where people get interested in it, pick it up, and then put it away. But I think if we got 2 people that were really sort of like always getting results with it, it would raise the deck's Q level up a little higher. And if it would get more recognition, more people would play. It'd be sort of a domino or snowballing effect, and it would end up getting bigger and bigger. Even so much so, and I'm not going to say that, like, my playing Zoo will influence pros to play Zoo, but it is completely true, especially in America, that pros look at MTGO first before deciding what deck they want to go with, unless they have a pet deck that they always run. But they always look at the results of MTGO. So getting some notoriety for Zoo on MTGO, even if I'm doubling True's results, will be better for the meta entirely. One of the problems with Zoo is it is, in fact, a expensive deck. Again, it's going to cost me about $1,000 to get the entire thing. And that's one of the reasons people won't play, is because it's really expensive. It's an aggro deck that's just really expensive. Why do that when you can play Affinity for like $200? So hopefully my repping it will be better. I can show you guys more videos, and this is going to end part 1 of my video. Once I get all of this stuff finalized, and I will get the actual MTGO working in front of me, and I take a lot of test games to practice on MTGO because it's an awful program, then I'll be able to show you guys some more videos. So this is part 1 of Zero to Zoo. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment, subscribe, like it if you want, and I hope to show more videos to you guys.